When I'm shooting something, no matter where it is, but particularly at the mountain because it reacts so with the weather, I like to get there early in the morning and get that purple sunrise.
Back in the mid-60s, the Mount Hood National Forest looked for some really good suitable terrain that would make a good ski area.
I arranged with Columbia Helicopters to get a chopper to go up there, and I took Eric Seiler with me, who at that time was the ski instructor at Timberline.
It was a beautiful day, flying above this gorgeous landscape of Portland, up to Mount Hood and landing on the meadows in the valley. My job was to investigate every contour of the mountain for the next 6 weeks.
Towards the end of April, Lloyd Gilmore, the head Forest Service guy in Mount Hood Forest, called me and said we'd won the award for the 30-year permit. Very exciting day.
He said to me, we have to be operating in business by December of this year.
I knew some of the principals involved in the research, development, and layout of Mount Hood Meadows and asked my friend, Franklin Drake, if there was a place for me in the organization.
You couldn't build anything until you pushed the snow off the ground there. On July 4th, there was something like 6 feet of snow still at the base lodge area.
They said, we want it to be pretty like it is when you first got there. So the only way to do it was helicopters. Well, it went very smooth. At the end of the second day we were done. They were all set in place. I think the cost, if I remember right, was about $1,800 an hour. If you break it down, it's about $30 a minute.
We were also met with the frustrations of a lengthy fire closure due to dry weather, ongoing issues with the United States Forest Service, and finally heavy storm and weather conditions during the final months of construction. The lifts would be completed and become operational, and many of the working crew would stay on and become full-time employees of Mount Hood Meadows Resort.
We had an invitee list of about 210 people, and it was a stormy day, but I think, as I recall, 195 showed up for the opening ribbon cutting. Gretchen Fraser, who was a friend of mine, she was an Olympic gold medalist, and so she's the one that made the first run down our main run from the top of the Blue Chairlift to the Day Lodge. She sailed through the ribbon in great shape. The next day it was open to the public, and it was a Bluebird Day. It couldn't have been any better, and the public came and everybody had a ball.
I designated people in 2 or 3 ways. If they were fun to work with, skilled at their job, and good with people, Keith was good at all those things.
Timberline and Ski Bowl just wasn't challenging enough. When I heard that Meadows was going to be open, it was going to be a little bit more expert terrain, I was sure to go on over there.
We're waiting for the Meadows to open. We heard they were building, and we were just waiting and waiting and waiting. We were ready to go.
And I started working because of Renee Farwig and the Farwig family, very instrumental in the early days of Mount Hood Meadows.
39 years ago, I I was learning how to be a ski school director and then marketing and then going with Ladies' Day programs.
In the original years, it was called Ladies' Day, and men weren't invited.
And that bus program then kept increasing to where the midweek bus program at Mount Hood Meadows increased to 3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
They were delighted to have their children go, and with one or two exceptions, the children were delighted to come.
I'm still at it. I've been with the program for about 36 years.
I was a ski lady, and now here they're growing up and have their own children, and you know, they still remember those good times.
You know, in those days we had heavier snowfall. It was not unusual to have 20 feet of snow at the base area in February.
The Snowcat that we drove in 1975 had a 6-cylinder engine with an automatic transmission. It sat right next to you, and it was so hot that you had to leave the door open, even if in a blizzard, to be able to breathe.
Over this 17-year period of time, the Meadows saw phenomenal growth and expanded physical facilities. 4 new chairlifts were built: Hood River Meadows, Shooting Star, Super Express, and Cascade, plus several lift upgrades.